And he is immediately met the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
Revenge on this team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out. What is up, my Pitchfork Lunch peeps? Happy Friday or Friday, whatever you want to call it. It is here, and it is going to be a fun weekend. I know football has a bye, so you're thinking, oh, how fun. Well, we'll get to it. Obviously, hockey drops the puck on the phenomenal season as they take on Penn State right out of the gates. Mullet Arena, packed tonight. Cannot wait to get to the game. And I hope you're going to be there, too. Hit me up if you are going to be there. But, yeah, we got hockey, we have volleyball. The reigning Big 12 champs getting their bling. Absolutely awesome. I'll bring you that tonight as well, or tomorrow. Sorry, not tonight. That's tomorrow. And then more hockey tomorrow as well, too. So, anyway, but I am Michael Carasino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as, yes, you know it, the Twitter. So, yeah, you can watch the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. You can also check out the good old IG. I know you guys know that. I remind you every day, but the wonderful good old IG at michael.caratinugo.5. Yes. Hey, people love the IG, so why not? And also, guys, YouTube. I know, yes, another friendly reminder as you need to go to YouTube and check out the well, obviously watch Pitchfork Lunch Live, but subscribe to the channel, guys. And as you're subscribing to the channel, just realize that you can get all caught up. Have you missed season 1 or season 2? And again, like I said, you've missed just a teeny bit. Yes, you have missed just a teeny bit. So, yeah, go to YouTube. You see my name, Michael Carasino. That ends in Michael V as in Victory, season champ. 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, guys, and subscribe. Because, again, you have missed a plethora of phenomenal con reviews. And if you're watching today, stay here because we're going to have another one with Sun Devil defensive coordinator Brian Ward, always gracious enough to join us. Like I said, they're on a bye this week, but Utah, not really. I mean, they don't have a game this week. But, yes, they get an extra few days to prep for a very talented Utah team up in Salt Lake City. So, yes, my friends, that is that. So, yeah, but Brian Ward will be joining us again. So stoked. But, again, go to YouTube, watch live, subscribe, because you can binge watch season 1, like I tell you, binge watch season 2, like I've told you, and then binge watch season 3. Keep watching season 3, and then you'll be good to go. Because, again, Coach Ward, a repeat guest, love having him on. Always the best. Always the best. So, yeah, you can definitely enjoy. Again, we'll catch up with them. This defense, yes, it's been a challenge. You're playing good teams. You're playing college football players, kids. They in a transfer portal, NIL. So yes, some teams that you think, oh man, but winning games matters. But hey, we'll catch up with Coach Ward and in a few minutes, and that'll be absolutely awesome. So, yeah. But again, that's YouTube. But yeah. Hockey, Penn State, tonight, Mullet Arena. You're not going to want to miss out because, again, it's ASU hockey. Coach Powers, again, heard from him yesterday. And the puck will drop this evening for the Devils and Coach Powers. Staff and his team. The puck will drop at 7 p.m. tonight, 5 p.m. tomorrow. And guess who picked it up? The NHL Network will be broadcasting tonight's game and tomorrow night's game as well. It'll be on Fox 10 locally too. But the NHL Network, guys, again, Sun Devils being highlighted after the season they had in the NCHC last year. That's why I asked Coach Powers about that. Again, if you missed it yesterday, subscribe to YouTube, guys. Go check it out. Again, you missed a great conversation with Cameron Valadares, too. Women's soccer got the win last night, too. But anyway, let's, again, all in one. So, yeah, hockey tonight, 7 p.m., Penn State. Get on in there. It is going to be just a matchup of Titans in the early season. And, yeah, so 7 p.m. tonight, Mullen. If you're going to be out there, hey, hit me up on the good old X or Twitter at Diablo00. Yeah, hit me up and we'll go from there. But yeah, let me know if you're going to be out at the good old Mullet Arena, because you definitely should be. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. Well, not all I'm going to say, but I'm just, I'm encouraging you to get on out there. I think it was close to a sellout last I checked. So yes, we shall go from there. But yeah, and then volleyball, like I said, tomorrow they have Utah. They will get their rings from being Big 12 champs last year, and it's going to be exciting, guys. So 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon matinee. Look, you get matinee volleyball, and then bam, over to Mullet Arena, guys. It's in Sun Devil Nation. I mean, it just doesn't get any funner. So yeah, soccer got the win, 9-1-2. They shut Cincinnati out 1-0. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, 1-0. Did soccer shut Cincy out, and the goal came in the 89th minute. Grace Gillard, and it was assisted by Allison Altadano. So we'll get into that in a minute. But we're going to step aside when we get back. It is going to be absolutely awesome. My Pitchfork Lunchers, again, he takes time, he's got to educate the people that, that love defense. And, of course, if you watch the show, you do love defense. So we'll take a quick break, but we'll be back with Sun Devil defensive coordinator Brian Ward here on Pitchfork Lunch. Well, you saw it right there. Pardon me. Saw it right there. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll still get choked up watching that phenomenal defense right there. The first one you saw, Martell Hughes, this young man. We'll talk to Coach Ward. We've talked to Coach Ward about him, but we'll talk more about Martell. But, man, what a play he made there. Keyshawn Elliott, one of the sacks. Again, you guys know Pitchfork Lunchers, no excuse. I play better. One-man band in it. Prince Dorba, 3 sacks, but that was Keyshawn Elliott right there getting one. And this defense – they just I think he just likes to toy with people. I think that is the trick shot that the man joining us now, defensive coordinator Brian Ward, has. Coach, so, I mean, Mississippi State ended up being a little tough. You get down 17, and a good team, a TCU team who, is a good team, didn't play them last year in conference. But you just like to spot teams 17 points and play with them. I mean, I don't think that's your game plan, Coach, but have you told your defense that yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it is, you spend all week getting ready for what teams are doing, and you try to anticipate what they're going to do. And the offenses, in this league, are really good. And if you don't, execute your game plan, or execute at a high level to start games, or I'm not in the right calls, or vice versa, you're gonna have to pay a price for it. And a couple things, like, when you talk about spotting 17 points, a lot go into that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's there's momentum, there's field position, there's, a lot of things that go into, quote unquote, spotting people, points, because we're never gonna, in our minds, never gonna spot anybody points.
Oh, no, Coach, I
But
say that just, but I
no,
get.
I know you say it in jest, but I'm just, I know, for, I guess, just the average, fan who,
Oh,
works a 9 to 5, and they're looking for enjoyment, and and they have high expectations for us, like we do as well. It's one of those things, like, a lot goes into every one of those calls, and a lot of strategy, and a lot of thinking, and ultimately it comes down to judgment on my part, and judgment on everybody else's part. So the key is people asked me what the adjustments were in that game, and what the adjustments were in the Baylor game, what the adjustments were in the Mississippi State game. I can assure you that it wasn't anything that we didn't practice. And so, a lot of times is, our guys getting a rhythm, and, me getting into the rhythm, play calling wise. And once our guys hit our rhythm, we can, we feel like we can play good defense.
oh, well, absolutely. And I mean, to get to obviously the TCU game last Friday, real quick. I mean, first of all, the field being as immaculate it was, with the the Midwest rain that we got out of nowhere. Of course, because it's Arizona, we always want rain, but not on game day like that. But
Yeah.
man, when you see a perform, I mean, obviously 6 sacks by your defense. I mean, Prince comes up with 3, and I gotta say, Coach, being on the field, seeing it live, I'm sure not having a game plan, like you said, calling, knowing your guys are athletes. But man, watching Prince make that play as I'm standing about 10, 15 yards from it, I'm like, what did I just see? Like, a sack, a strip. He just takes the ball, everything he takes away, Coach. Like,
Yeah.
when you see something like that, I mean, again, to me, when I was talking about it on Monday, I'm like, guys, just phenomenal. I've never seen anything like that. Like on TV, yeah, like literally like with my eyes. Man, when Prince makes a play like that, what goes through your head outside of, yep, that's right, we got the ball back?
Yeah, I mean, my mentality is always on to the next play, and my thought is I got to get the call, I got to get the next call in. But when that did happen, there's a picture of me, and my wife sent it to me, up in the box, and I just kind of put my 2 hands in a fist, and I put my hands up on my forehead, and I just was smiling, and I was just like, yes. And like I told Prince, I mean, in that moment, that was a culmination of just, that's who I've always seen Prince being on our defense, and just seeing him, just that the culmination of that in the second half against TCU, and in the game that he played, and then and then culminating that game with a sack fumble. I honestly, uh most of that joy I was expressing was because I'm not, and even to this day I just think about it right now. I mean, I get choked up for him, because a lot of these guys have to go through things, and being a college athlete's not all, kicks and giggles, and it's not all what people, make it out to be. I mean, these guys, they get up and they work hard, and they have aspirations, and they work hard, and they dream of games like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I've dreamt of games like that for Prince Dorba, and I've literally thought he was going to do that, throughout his career here, and seeing it happen and it all come to fruition. It was just, for me, as a guy that's been here, and he's been here every step of the way with us, seeing him do that, and just seeing, and just like putting myself in his shoes, and how happy he must have been. That's really what that expression was. I'm not even, that's not even, that's not me overstating it in the least bit. I mean, I really was happy for the kid in that moment. And in that moment, it was just like, wow, man, how could this end up being better for him?
Yeah, I mean, and he talked about it earlier in the week too. I mean, obviously overcoming injuries, it's 3 and 9 seasons, and you stay the course like you guys always talk about. But yeah, I was, oh man, just absolutely awesome to see. And then you know, and I've talked to you obviously about the defense. We talked about it on the show, but even up at like Camp T, having returners, I always appreciate your statement when you said it that day, because you're like, you know, it's a good thing, but you know, can it be a curse too? Because you don't want to get in too much of you know, oh well, they just get this or they get that. I know Coach Coop talked about that with me too. Is like, you know, yeah, you want to appreciate it, but just, you know, keep pushing. But you talk about a guy like the defense that you run, and you said that, you know, these guys, and I know Coach Cooper talking with the linebackers, but each position holding everybody accountable. Man, they just keep pushing. I mean, if and I know your guys' message too, real quick, has been, I mean, Coach Dillingham after, you know, last year, like, yeah, it is great. You want to celebrate winning the Big 12, but it's over. Nobody cares. But man, for guys that won the Big 12, just the accountability, the drive, the motor and engine that they play with, and just the comfort they have in your defense. I mean, you were onto something there, Coach, because it looks pretty great. How rewarding is that? Like, I mean, for coaches, when you see this and see it come to fruition, like you said, Prince makes that play, but just everybody just getting in and every level of the defense pushing each other, but holding each other accountable.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it is. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much that I mean, I can't even, it's exhausting even thinking about it. And when you're in the middle of it, it's exhausting, but you don't have time to think about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much that goes into it. There's so many emotional ebbs and flows, and the people outside of the building, like, and I think, you know, even people, you know, that are the most stringent fan and they're most invested in our program, like, you know, every call, everything that happens, everything we coach these guys to do, and every question that they have for us as coaches, and there's just so much, you know, and that's why we spend so much time here. It's not just what you see on Saturday. It's so much more than that. So, and when it's able to come together, you know what I'm saying, and you know, we're able to put a game together and we're able to win. I mean, winning is really hard. Playing well for the players is really hard. You know, like, it's just not something they can just go out there and do. And just because they've done it before, you know, expectation, you know, can be the thief of all joy. The only thing that you can really control is the work that you put in every day. And that's what the players, they'll understand that. And the best players, they understand that. They can't worry about what's going to happen in the future or what's happened in the past. They got to worry about what they got to do today in order to get the result that they want to get on Saturday. And anything that takes away from that, you can see, and it shows up on Saturday. And so, you know, our job as coaches, and I've said it once, I've said it 100 times, is to do everything we can to get these guys prepared and put them in a position to be successful on Saturday. And if I can go to bed on Friday night before the games and feel like I've done that, I sleep really well on Friday evening. If I feel like there's any questions, I don't sleep very well on Friday night, because I want to make sure I get all the information to these guys, and I think I speak for the rest of the coaching staff. As I mean, that's really Kenny's. That's his whole mantra. Just have our guys prepared and let Saturday take care of itself.
Well, I mean, taking care of itself. I mean, I look at the, you know, the defensive leaders, and I go back to what Sam said, you know, towards the end of the spring, and even, you know, up at Camp T, the fall camp, like, your defense might be the best defense he goes against all year. And he's saying that. So when I hear that from him, and you start seeing what the defense done, I mean, I know Clayton and Keyshawn are I mean, I guess tied for second in the conference. Both have 4 sacks. I mean, Prince obviously has the 3. I mean, the way CJ and Jacob have been playing in the middle and the way you mix it up. But, like, I say that to you because if it is the best defense, I mean, the offense has the leading rusher in the conference. And, again, it's team success. But I explain it on the way that, you know, your defense could be credit for that because the offensive line's had to work so hard, and then the games are working hard. And now you got the leading rusher in the conference. So I think your defense deserves some kudos for that too, Coach. Us here on Pitchfork Lunch, you know, my fans, they kind of connected those dots too.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a program philosophy, and it starts and finishes with our head coach and what he emphasizes in terms of our off-season strength and conditioning program, in terms of with the culture that he wants to have, and you know, the culture that he wants to build, and being, you know, he coached on offense for his whole career, but he's a guy that really does understand, and obviously it goes without saying. I mean, he really is able to tie in, the subcultures into one culture, like the defensive culture, the offensive culture, the special teams culture, the weight room culture, the off the field culture, the leadership culture. He's able to he's very to marry all those subcultures into one culture. And when it gets on the field, it's about running the ball and stopping the run. It's about playing situational offense and playing situational defense. And a lot of coaches talk a good game, and I've been around a lot of good head coaches and but in terms of the emphasis, you get what you emphasize, and that's taking care of the football and taking away the football, possessing the football, stopping the run, playing good situational defense, playing good third down offense, good third down defense, good red zone offense, good red zone defense. And, being able to implement that and practice those things I mean, it's definitely the strength of our program, and because of our head coach and the emphasis he puts on those things. I lost you, Mike. I can't hear you.
No,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
For some reason I
Gotcha.
muted. But I was going to say that, I was bringing up because when you talk about obviously the culture and the players, and the first season, obviously with the knock on wood with the injuries, it's tough because you're trying to get this culture and get things going, but it's tough. And then you come back obviously the next year, first year of the Big 12, and you see that. But developing depth, somebody like a Rodney Bimich who had to come in and who's been in the program, and then obviously Boogie Wilson transfers in, and I know X hasn't been playing, and he comes back, and Boogie Wilson, I mean, he's getting comfortable. But Rodney Bimich, who, I mean, I remember talking to you last year. I mean, just the athleticism, the talent. But how big was it for somebody like Rodney to, yeah, he could have played. And I know Coach Dillingham, because I kind of asked Coach Dillingham this too, like, he could have played, but, he's watching Keith. He's watching Javen prepare. He's watching, even a guy like Shamari and, X and Ghost. Like, but how big is it for Rodney? Because, I mean, he comes in and I think he played, like 45, 50 plays. And it just, again, to your guys' credit, obviously to his credit, but not skipping a beat. But when you see that, like somebody coming in like that, knocking on the door, what Boogie Wilson has done, what does that just do for the guys like on the defense in general and just in the room?
Mhm. Well, I mean, part of it is a culture that was already here in terms of guys like Boogie and guys like Kendrick and guys that they can kind of see it. And so the sooner they assimilate into our culture, the sooner they're going to be, productive members of the team. And they've done that. And, Rodney's been here since, obviously he's been here since jump. So he knows, he knows what our expectation of him has been. And him doing what he did last Saturday is what we expect from Rodney. It's what he expects from himself. It's the day to day. Again, the process. I mean, everybody is ready to play the game on Saturday, but not everybody wants to put the work in from Monday through Saturday afternoon to get themselves prepared. I mean, and that's something that that you have to. Most of our players have to learn once they get here. They got to understand the process is actually even more important than the lead up to the game on game day. I mean, the game is when you put all of the work together and you put all the work and the effort and the energy and everything that you've done throughout the week into, and you hopefully comes to fruition. But again, like guys like Rodney, guys like Kendrick, guys like Boogie, the new guys that have come in and helped us this year, like it's been about those guys understanding the process. And again, like I keep saying it. If we handle the process, the winning and losing takes care of itself on Saturday.
No, absolutely. And so, I mean, I look at a bye week. Obviously, it's not like fall camp, and like obviously when the schedules come out, like you have all that time, you're getting ready for the first team. But on a bye week, obviously it's good. This time of year, bumps and bruises, players get a little R and healed, still practicing. But what's the I guess what's the fun for like fans, like you said, that fans that don't get it, like the fun in getting to prepare, especially for a team like Utah for an extra week. But then also, what's the challenge in that too? To not, I guess, I don't know if you can truly ever overdo it, but maybe overdo it.
hmm Well, again, we've been, when you get to this level, Mike, you know what I mean? Like you just know that like you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can tweak things to make sure you're not that predictable. So for us, it's just really about, self-evaluation. Exactly what Kenny said is we're evaluating ourselves, looking at what our tendencies are, looking at, it's a lot of it is just reflecting on the first 5 games of the year and how can we make these next 4 games before our next bye week, how can we make these next 4 weeks just as productive as the first five, or hopefully more so. So because again, for us, it's all about us being able to execute the fundamentals at a high level. And how can we, self-evaluate and work on the things that we feel like we need more work at, in order to get to the level, and to be at the standard we expect. So, and then, obviously we're touching on Utah and becoming familiar with them, but, again, just to adhere to the same process that's gotten us ready the first 5 weeks, and don't overdo it and don't overthink it. And because if you're overthinking it as a coach, the players are going to be twice or even 3 times as much.
Now, and okay, and you mentioned like guys stepping up. And speaking of the first 5 weeks, that's a great segue. See, we could. Hey, whenever you're bored with coaching, you want to do a TV show. That was a perfect segue to my next question. I was going to say, what did you learn about your defense? I mean, I say the team, but what did you learn most? What do you feel like the defense had the most growth in the first 5 weeks of the season compared maybe to last year's first 5 weeks of the season?
I didn't really compare it. I haven't compared it because it's just, it's a different, honestly, and that's the thing from a football and from a strategy standpoint. It's a different year. We're playing different styles of offenses defensively, and just like night and day different styles. And even the team that we did play or the teams that we played last year that we played this year, the way they played us was completely different. So, it's been good. I mean, there's things that, whenever you're reevaluating, you don't you look at some of the good, but really they focus on the bad and the things that you can be better at. And so, and that's the whole point, is hopefully you don't make the same mistake twice. So that's been the real focus for us, is, okay, here's how teams are seeing us, here's where we need to get better, and here's what do we need to work on. So, again, the reflection doesn't come until the end of the season, where we really compare and contrast, and we really dig deep on personnel, and here's who's doing good things, here's doing bad things, here's where we gotta get better. And hopefully by the end of the season we can continue to move along at this pace, where we're hopefully we close the second half of the season this year like we did last season, by being, I think overall like 7 points better, and really closing strong at the end of last season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay. Speaking of this, a little bit of the fun part. So I know because you admitted, we talked about it last season, but your son, um, a GA on the team. How's that? And one of your daughters is also out there too with the crew.
Yeah.
So what's it like having the family ward out there? Do you maybe every now and then? I know your son's more so working with the O line, but do you get a little critique on a call that you may have made from son or daughter?
Never. I mean, never. It's my son has always been a great listener. He's maybe one of the, and his coaches in high school and in college will probably tell you the same thing. He's a great listener. And so he's a guy that's just a sponge, and he doesn't say a whole lot. He's not you wouldn't know he's there unless you said something to him. But he's a guy that really absorbs a lot of information, and he's trying to be a productive member of our staff, and do everything that Coach Tuatele ask of him, and Coach Arroyo and Coach Dillingham. And my daughter, she's involved in a lot on campus here, and she's doing a lot. She's in nursing school, so she's out at football 1 or 2 days a week. She also runs the social media site for the Newman Center here on campus, and she's very involved with our church, and she's a leader in that area as well for other students. And then she does a lot of community service and outreach, as well, in her nursing program. So, yeah, I got a busy family, but I count myself really, really fortunate. Thank God every day, just that I'm able to see my two older college age kids. I mean, even though my son's out of college now, I'm able to see them every day, and I know I count myself among the very few when it comes to people that blessed and fortunate. I'm just very thankful Coach Dillingham and the athletic department for allowing them to be a part of everything.
Oh, absolutely. And when I look at it too, Coach, when you say that, I was going to say they probably learned, a little, obviously consolidation and organization. I mean, football, is for family and for life because obviously them growing up, seeing what you're doing, putting together game plans, recruiting, everything, in a
Yeah,
compartment. So that's awesome.
yeah, it's
So
really cool.
okay, tomorrow obviously it's a bye week, and I know everybody, coaches, you guys always get the question. That's why I don't really ask it like, oh man, do you just want to keep going with the momentum? Because if the team's winning, it's like, oh, you just want to keep playing and going. It's like, but if team lost, oh, it came at the right time. But my question is like, so I mean, tomorrow, do you just like have a little time where you're still look obviously starting more things for Utah, but are you going to sit around and watch some college football games? Do you do that, or you just kind of like get away from it?
I'm honestly, I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna get up, drink some coffee with my wife, and may go do a day out, do something. You know what I mean? And maybe do a day trip. And it's my first day off since the last week of July, so I'm gonna treat it like a day off because they're few and far between this time of year.
Yes, they are. You have definitely earned it. But yeah, like I was mentioning you last week. So again, it's always like I always kid around with you. It's like 99.999% like your guys' coaching and your players' skill and talent. But last Friday before I got off the air, I said, or no, the Baylor. So the Friday before the Baylor game, I go, Keith Abney's going to have his first interception. I go, I'd like to say it's going to be a pick six, but I go, it's probably going to be like just a play where he literally just snatches it from the receiver. And when he did it, I was like, that's why I never get anything right. I don't gamble. I don't bet because it literally I'll miss by like an inch. But when he did that, I was like, look at me. I go, man, I've been hanging around smart people like Coach Ward and Coach Kersing long enough. Every now and then I can pick up on something. Every
Yeah,
now and then.
you grab something. Hey, we're all the same. You know what I mean? Sometimes, sometimes where you can get a feeling of something that's going to happen.
And Coach, lastly, I want to get you out of here on this too, because I know I mentioned it to Coach Dillingham, and yeah, obviously you're going to prep for who you're going to prep for him. When you're obviously in the Pac-12, you pretty much knew who you were playing. But this year, I mean, because you guys played Iowa State in the championship game. You only had conference-wise, you only had 4 teams that you played last year. I know, whatever, whoever you have to line up and play, you guys are gonna have a game plan for as a coordinator, as coaches. I get that, but what's the fun in that, and maybe also almost kind of like the challenge? Because yeah, I mean, unless new coach, new staff came in when you were in the Pac-12, it's like, okay, we're gonna get this. So yeah, you still have to tweak things, but does it make it more challenging? Maybe I don't like to use the word monotonous because obviously there's a lot of challenge there, and it's not that. But like, what was when you see the scheduling, you're like, oh wow, only like there's 4 conference teams. Is there like a bigger challenge in that, or does it make it a little more fun, or just
I don't really understand the question.
So like,
Yeah,
because there's
okay.
4 teams, so Utah, Texas Tech, Iowa State played in the championship, and Arizona were the 4 teams in conference that you played last year. Mm-hmm. But this year, so last year you played those 4. This year you have those 4, but then the other teams you play in conference you didn't play. So did that make prepping for the season maybe a little more challenging, or like, oh, they do this or they do that? Like when you in the Pac-12, when it's like, okay, we know we're pretty much playing. This is who we're playing, and you kind of little things you could tweak. What's the challenge in only seeing 4 teams from conference that you played last year, and the rest of the teams in conference you didn't play them last year?
Well, if you go Texas Tech, they got a new coordinator.
Oh, okay.
Utah has a new coordinator. Utah has a new coordinator. Arizona has a new coordinator. You know what I'm getting at? Like Iowa State's the only guy that doesn't have a new coordinator. So yeah, no, there's no monotony. And part of the thing is like, for example, like when I first faced TCU's offensive coordinator, it was 6 years ago. Briles. I forgot his first name. His dad is Art Briles, but anyways, I faced him 6 years ago, and he outcoached me. And he got into a wildcat formation. He had Cam Akers at running back, and he'd showed like 2 formations of wildcat the whole year, and it was like the 8th game of the year. He came in, showed me 11 different formations and 16 different plays out of wildcat, and and I couldn't get into the adjustments because I didn't, I didn't trust the defense that was our adjustment. You know what I mean? And I should have, hindsight, just got into the defense. I know we should have, but I just didn't trust our ability to execute it. It's a wrong decision by me. So he outcoached me, and they ended up getting us when he was at Florida State. So this last year, I was familiar with him, but he'd evolved. You know what I'm saying? He'd evolved as an offensive coordinator. He'd evolved in terms of what he was doing with the quarterback, and he had a better quarterback. So, I went in knowing what his play calling style was. So, anytime you face guys that know you and you know them, at least are familiar with them, it's actually even more challenging. You know what I mean? You'd rather face guys that don't really know you, rather than face guys that really know you. You know what I mean? So, and I would rather face guys that I know. You know what I'm saying? So does that make sense? Because
Yep.
I
Oh, yeah.
got
Absolutely.
feeling what they're gonna do, and I got better idea what their kind of makeup is as play callers. So so no, it's always a challenge. And when you factor in everything from injuries to playing at home to playing at the road to playing on the road, from playing early in the season to the middle of the season to late in the season. I mean, just there's so many things that go into calling plays and getting your team ready. And you're doing everything you can to make sure that you're right and not wrong. And so it's no different. It doesn't really matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter who we're playing.
Yeah, true. Well, I know like your defense definitely, players have said to me like, hey, a call's a call, and even Keyshawn's like, yeah, maybe it's not, doesn't be the right one, but we're gonna make the play. And there's times that coach calls something, and we're like, oh man, he's like, it's good he called that because it was right there. So I mean, picking each other up. But coach, I'll let you get out of here. Enjoy. Yeah, you definitely earned a day trip. I know, obviously next week in Utah, a night game, which that just means that crowd in Salt Lake's going to be even more riled up. It'll be a fun atmosphere. But enjoy your day off. And again, thank you so much as always for taking the time here on Pitchfork Lunch, because like we always love defense here, and my viewers, they're like, you still need offense. I'm like, I know, but it all starts with defense. So I always appreciate you coming on, Coach.
All right, I appreciate you, man. Okay, have a good weekend.
You too. That
All
is
right, what's up? Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. See, he knows. Forks up. That is Brian Ward, Sun Devil defensive coordinator. Again, I'm going to take a quick break, digest that. We'll get back to it. But, yeah, he said some interesting things there. And we'll talk a little volleyball. We got some time. We'll talk hockey, a little hockey and volleyball. Yes, Penn State here. They're here in town now. Sorry, Eric Wilson. Penn State needs to go down. I mean, couldn't beat Oregon at home, but that's a different sport. That's a tough game. But the Devils, Eric Wilson, coming for you, buddy. But we'll have more Pitchfork Lunch coming right up. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch again. Yes, forks up to defensive coordinator Brian Ward, Sun Devil football defensive coordinator Brian Ward, for joining us here again. Friend of the program, always great conversation with him. I didn't mean to confuse him there. I know I went a little too long, get too excited, but get technical questions and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, always just a wealth of knowledge. And like you said, one of his best quotes on the show was, he said it only took him 25 years to become an overnight success. So absolutely, absolutely awesome. So yeah, a lot there. And like he says, I mean, calling a defense, and they've made plays for him. I mean, they've made plays for him. Yes, he gets me the right things. Sometimes I need to adjust, but man, it's just playing. When coaches say simple, it's football simple. So it's not like it's just basic. Okay, you just line up and you guys all go here. No, I mean, coach talks about always doing their 111th. They're doing it. And yeah, I mean, guy like Rodney Bimmage stepping up. Javen Robinson who's sick, and then Xavier Alford. We saw what obviously what he is on the field, and to have a guy like Boogie Wilson come in, and then Montana Warren, at the nickel, getting his time and coming in. Now he's a little banged up, and Kendrick Breedlove, who's there, who's the transfer portal guy, comes in. I mean, it's just, but yeah, you can see why you could definitely play for Coach Ward, talk to Coach Ward, Coach Cooper. Like, again, it's just that level of, yes, we're doing this, but this is simple because of this. So yeah, it'll be awesome in Utah. It'll be rocking in Salt Lake next week. But anyway, so yes, forks up to Coach Ward. Thank you, Coach Ward. Again, always welcome, part of the Pitchfork Lunch family. So, but yeah, soccer gets the 1-0 win. Like I told you, we'll get to hockey in a sec. I'm not forgetting it. But in the 89th minute, Grace Gillard gets the goal and the assist by Addison Baltadano, the freshman. So Gillard, another defender. Again, we talked about that with Cameron Valadares, who was on the show. Again, little Pitchfork Lunch mojo. Again, it's 99.999% of their skill, talent, understanding of the game, and the 0.00001% of the Pitchfork Lunch mojo. So, but yeah, it's I mean, that's a pretty damn good percentage, right? She played obviously all 90 minutes. The defender, she had one shot on goal and one goal, so you'll take it. And yes, she had the assist. But yeah, it's but it was nice to see Kiera Blundell, her time going up. She played 40 minutes last night, by the way. Wanted to obviously get that to you as again, watching came out in the game and she was in there. So again, good to see. But yeah, just another to add to the list. And then Tatum Thomas in the end played all 90 minutes of the game, and just what she is in midfield. And again, it is tough without Ella Kettles now, who again got hurt, like I told you guys, against UCF. But again, it's again just positive vibes for her. But yeah, they get the win. They are 9-1-2. They are 2-1-1 now in the Big 12. Love seeing that. But yeah, I mean, it's you got to get out as well. Again, you don't have too many more opportunities to see them at home now because they have that huge 7-game home streak, and now they're on the road for 4 or 5. 5, but maybe 4 more now. So, but hockey, guys, Penn State. They are, again, a good team. You heard Coach, solid program. Again, they were, the way they started their program and how they got in, being a club, and then, but they had an arena, they had a conference, obviously, and then, they played, obviously, basically like an independent the first year as they do, and then as they do. And so yeah, I mean, look, the way they built up, and again, but hey, like the old adage is more than one way to skin a cat, right? Um, 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 and yeah, pretty talented players. Let me tell you. I think they had. Where are my notes? They had a few. Um, 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 one other. They have a few first round picks, and again, I'll have to. Sorry, I guess I'll have to retable that because I know I had it in my notes. Um, um, but yeah. Anyway, I'll clear it up on Monday because we're going to obviously review this series. But yeah, Penn State. I mean, they got the countdown on their website: 6 hours, 4 minutes, and 25 seconds, and counting, until they take on the Devils. Um, but last year, by the way, I just want to remind you that Penn State was 22, 14, and 4 overall, 9, 11, and 4 in the Big Ten. 10, 6, and 2 at home, 9, 7, and 1 away, 3, 1, and 1 neutral. So again, obviously, like I said, I mean, they dropped their first 6 Big Ten games. Um, 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 but then, yeah, the last part of the season, they kind of teams they lost to, they made a run back at it. So, um, um, their head coach, by the way, is Guy Gadowski. Quite a few of you might know him, but yeah, I know Coach Powers. So wait, did Coach Powers say with him? It's the second year there. Well, either way, but like a very, very talented team. I will tell you that. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of guys that played in the USHL and the American Hockey League, the Western Hockey League. Yeah, so it's again, it'll be awesome there tonight. You've got to get out and see it. And for the guys at the Devils have coming back, I mean, obviously a guy like Anthony Dowd. Um, um, Kyle Smolin, Cruz Lucius, again, who coach talked about. Braden Bozer back from last year. Bennett Shimmick as well. And then Joel Kelberg, he is back. Anthony Dowd, like I said, Tucker Ness. So Colin Potter, I mean, it's a sophomore now. This young man had was in the national team development program, and he played a little bit this summer and did quite well. So, but yeah, and plus tonight they are going to honor Joey Decord. They're retiring his number. So I did bury the lead on that. I mean, yes, I'm starting against Penn State, but Joey Decord, his number will be retired. And the NHL Network, like I told you guys earlier, picked it up, which is just, again, absolutely awesome. But yeah, they're going to retire Joey Decord's number again. And you heard Coach Powers talk about it. I mean, that was like the first, he was still coaching club. They're going to Division I, but just selling division. He didn't really even have a staff yet. He spent all that time with Decord. So have some sound from him as well, too. But yeah, absolutely awesome. I mean, and he played goalie, and again, playing obviously at Oceanside in a miniature barn, basically, as they say. But yeah, absolutely awesome. So, but that's going to do it, guys. 1 o'clock tomorrow. Again, don't forget volleyball. 1 o'clock tomorrow. Utah, they get their rings, get out there, because on 5 o'clock tomorrow night, you can do hockey. 7 o'clock tonight. Hockey, again, it is all just phenomenal in Sun Devil Nation. So, that being said, but hey, that's going to do it for Friday. Again, big ups. Thank you so much to Sun Devil defensive coordinator Brian Ward. If you missed it, guys, so you just jumped in. I know, I get it. It is a lunchtime show, but that's why it's called Pitchfork Lunch, and you know that. We got nothing but love for you. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe away. Again, Brian Ward. Again, yeah, talking about the defense, talking about stuff. And we're not going to wait too many tricks of the trade. And obviously, his family there, absolutely awesome. So, anyway, have a phenomenal rest of your Friday or Friday, whatever you call it. I will see you Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. And it is, yes, thanks to reigning Big 12 champs women's volleyball, who get their rings at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Just remember that. Hit me up at Diablo00 on X or at Michael.Cartoon.5 on IG if you're headed out there. But yes, it is hashtag our state. So that team down south always remembers that. Yes, you always will be. It always will be Sun Devil State, as we know. Pat's Run, Tillman Foundation is Friday. That's why I got this on. Hey, talking to Coach Ward, got the defense on too. See, there you go. But yes, it is hashtag our state. Go Devils. And yes, you guys know it. Coach Ward said, as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Plummer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Pull. Touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again.
Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
Bench on this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025.
Today. This one the other way. Still going back. That's the track. Walks up and down. Edwards pulls off and buries a Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money. Takes his shot for